Hello, thanks for joining me for my YouTube live event where I will be reading Chapter 4 of Kisses Over Candlelight. So the first 3 people who comment today will win ebook copies of my new collection. Well, I guess it's not new, but it feels new because it's all about spring, but it's my Spring Dream collection. And so the first 3 who comment will be able to win an ebook copies of that. And also, let's see. We are going to be playing a trivia game afterwards, and I'm really excited about that, so stay tuned for that. And the winners of that, well, I'll announce what the winners of that, what you'll receive after I read. So also I'll be announcing the winner of the $10 Amazon gift card. So stick around for that. Oh, I wanted to read some of the comments here. Let's see, Claire says, awesome, thank you for joining me. And it's always, this is my favorite part, is reading your comments. So if you have any comments, be sure to put them in, and I won't respond to the comments while I'm reading, but put them in because I love seeing your comments and I love answering them. So, okay, here we go. This is Chapter 4. Oh, this says looking forward to all. Awesome, thank you. And here we go. Chapter 4. I can't believe you're leaving me here, Brooke wailed, thrusting out her lower lip in a sultry pout. Dramatically, she flung herself down beside Dawson, who was sitting on the sofa in his apartment. She crossed her long legs, making sure to show as much leg as possible. Dawson was quietly amused by the gesture. Brooke's legs were one of her greatest assets, and she took every opportunity to show them off. I'll only be gone for a few days. Besides, you're so bombarded with wedding plans that I would only be in the way. You're never in the way, she countered, reaching for his arm and placing it around her shoulders. Then she snuggled into him. I just don't like it when you're gone. I miss you. Her voice grew small and childlike. Whenever Brooke was desperate to get her way, she resorted to baby talk. He would have thought by now that she would have learned that her antics had the opposite effect than what she intended. In fact, they irritated the heck out of him. He immediately felt guilty for the thought. After all, it wasn't Brooke's fault that she was spoiled, nor was it her fault that she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Underneath the annoying layers of her upbringing, she was a good person. He felt himself soften as he looked into her mournful eyes. I'll miss you too, but this is a good opportunity for the agency. Forget the agency, she muttered darkly. He gave her a censured look that instantly quelled her. I'm sorry, she amended. I just don't like being alone. Geez, she was acting like he was going away for a year rather than a few days. Call one of your girlfriends, or better yet, go have dinner with your parents. They've been dying to get you to themselves. That's not true. They love you. Yes, I'm sure you're right. It took effort to keep the exasperation from his voice. Brooke could be so impossible. It was a simple business trip. Was this how it was going to be when they were married, her glued to his side 24/7? Brooke was extremely jealous of other women. If she even thought he was looking at another woman, she went ballistic. A pit settled in his stomach. Was he making a mistake? I didn't mean it that way, honey. She ran her manicured fingers through his hair. I could go with you. An inn sounds romantic. She leaned in and nipped his ear with her lips. His heart dropped. No! Her face strained as she backed away. I'm sorry, he inserted quickly. I would love for you to go, but I'll be so busy with work that you would be a distraction. Her eyes went icy as an eyebrow arched. A distraction? Oops, this was not going well. Not well at all. Even though he felt like Brooke was being petty, on some level he understood her concern. She was worried about him going back to Utah because of Alex. Had she realized that he was going back to the very inn where he and Alex first got together, then she would have an out-of-body experience. Thankfully, she didn't realize that part of the equation. You know what I meant. No, I don't know, she heaved back. There had to be a way to get through to her. Tenderly, he gathered her hands in his. This is a great opportunity for the agency and something I need to do. You don't need to keep proving yourself to Daddy if that's what you're worried about. He was starting to feel like a rubber band that was being stretched to the point of breaking. Everything is not about your father. I'm doing this for the agency. I have an opportunity to pick up a new client outside of Texas. It's a good thing. She looked him in the eye. Are you sure this is about the agency? His pulse bumped up a notch. Of course it is. What else would it be about? Silence. Brooke, I don't appreciate the silent treatment. She sighed heavily. You just seem so distracted lately and disgruntled about everything." He let out a harsh laugh. "Well, maybe that's because you keep trying to back me into a corner and make all of the decisions without me." Her lower lip began to tremble. Is that what you think I'm doing?" He braced himself for the gush of tears that were sure to follow. In another few minutes, Brooke would dissolve into a puddle of eyelashes and smears of hot pink lipstick. He loved Brooke, but the excessive crying was getting old. At first, he had rushed to comfort her every time she broke down, but lately he was starting to suspect the tears might be a power play to get what she wanted. Everything was moving way too fast. When he first started working for the agency, he had been so angry with Alex for pushing him out of the company. Then, as the weeks went by, he started missing her. The more he thought about their final argument, the more petty his grievances with her seemed. Finally, he swallowed his pride and tried calling and texting back. Heck, he even left her a couple of emails. Nothing. So he did what any red-blooded male would do, took comfort in the beautiful ex-girlfriend that was continually throwing herself at him. Before he realized what was happening, he was engaged. Brooke had been a big comfort to him over the past few months, and he had finally thought he had Alex out of his system. That is, until he'd gotten the call from the Willow Tree Inn asking him to pay them a visit so that he could develop a marketing plan. How they'd gotten his number or name was a mystery. He had asked the lady who called about that, but she gave him some vague story about getting his name from a former client, although she couldn't remember the name of the person who recommended him. The woman seemed a little flighty, but she said the owner was willing to pay all expenses to fly out and talk with her. So it would be a huge project. Normally, he wouldn't have given it a second look, even with the paid expenses, but Alex's face had flashed before him at the very mention of the inn, bringing it all back full force. He just needed to get away for a few days to get his head straight. Things with Brooke were getting way too confusing. He knew she loved him, and he wanted to love her. "Please let me love her like she loves me," he kept praying over and over. Despite Stewart's stubbornness and not allowing him to take the reins at the agency, life was good. He had the love of a great woman and a bright future, whereas he and Alex were a dead end. They were constantly arguing, and even though he had made great strides with her company, she refused to even entertain the idea of letting him buy in. And one thing he refused to do was waste the best years of his career hoping for something that would never happen. Brooke's sniffles brought him back to the present. "I'm sorry, I think I'm just overly emotional because of the stress of the wedding." He began rubbing her back. "I'm sure that's the case. You do know that I'm crazy about you, don't you?" The tears dried instantly as hope sprang in her eyes, making him feel guilty. "You are?" He forced a smile. "Yes." All he needed was time to clear his head and gain a new perspective. He was extremely fond of Brooke. That could develop into love, couldn't it? Any guy would be lucky to have her, and she had chosen him. He was the luckiest guy on the planet. She threw her arms around him. "Okay, go on your marketing trip. I'll hold down the fort here." She really was beautiful, with her flawless complexion, sculptured eyebrows, and thick eyelashes, although he suspected that the eyelashes weren't real. He welcomed the feeling of warmth that flooded through him as she leaned in. Her sophisticated perfume enveloped him in an intoxicating swirl, and her hair felt soft and tickly against his shoulders. She gave him a long, thorough kiss that left them both breathless. Yes, life was good. Okay, that was chapter 4 of Kisses Over Candlelight. Okay, now, let's see here. What are we going to do next? It is trivia time. I've been looking forward to this part. So I'm going to ask 3 questions, and the first people who answer these questions correctly and put them in the comments will receive a copy of my ebook, The Fragile Truth. So be sure and answer these questions. Okay. I hope you've been brushing up on your Kisses Over Candlelight facts. Okay, number 1. What type of business does Alex have? Number 2. What song does Gracie sing at the top of her lungs in the middle of the warehouse? Number 3. Alex received an all-expense-paid certificate for what inn? So we're looking for the name of the inn. Okay, so those are the 3 trivia questions. So make sure you put the answers in the comments, and I'll be announcing the winners of those next week, right at the beginning of the live event, and you will receive an ebook copy of The Fragile Truth. So And also, let's see, I meant to say that if you win anything today, please make sure to email me at jennifer@jenniferyoungblood.com letting me know what you've won. Okay, let me just recap those questions really, really quick for those who may have missed them. Let's see. Number one, what type of business does Alex have? Okay. Number two, what song does Gracie sing at the top of her lungs in the middle of the warehouse? Number three, Alex received an all-expense paid certificate for what inn? And we're looking for the name of the inn. Okay, so I hope you got all of those. Now it's time to announce the $10 Amazon gift card winner. So the winner of that is Linda Bass. Linda, congratulations. You will receive a $10 Amazon gift card. Oh, this is from Shelly. I love listening to you read. Great books that you've written. Thank you so much, Shelly. I really appreciate you listening. It really just warms my heart and makes my day to be able to talk to all of you in real time. Chelsea said, congratulations, Linda. Congrats, Linda. Yes, I'm so excited that you won. And let's see, for those of you who would like to get in on the drawing for next week, I picked the $10 gift card winner from my newsletter subscribers. So be sure and subscribe to my newsletter list, and you'll find the link for that below. Okay, let's see. Austin was doing a tally of the first 3 who commented, and you will receive ebook copies of my Spring Dream collection. So the winners are JML, Claire Delamont, and Natalie Adams. Congratulations. So be sure and email me at jennifer@jenniferyoungblood.com so that I will be able to send that to you. Okay, so let's see what else I wanted to tell you. Oh, I wanted to tell you about an event that I have coming up. Oh, this is Jenzy. Jenzy said, I am glad I can bring you on my trip. I don't want to miss a chapter. That's awesome. Jenzy is a dear friend of mine, and I just love that you are listening to my books. She often listens to my audiobooks on her trip, and so I am thrilled about that, and I'm glad that you'll be able to keep tuning in to listen. So for those of you who enjoy listening to audiobooks, make sure you check out my audiobooks here on this channel. I put the full audiobooks up, and they also have a video of a beautiful landscape scenery in the background. JML says, thanks so much. You are very, very welcome. So I want to tell you about a special video that I'm putting together. This will be available for you to watch on Monday. It's something that I've never done before, but I have a new book coming out in my Honeysuckle Island series, and it's called False Illusions, and I will be reading the prologue of that. So the book is in pre-order phase right now on Amazon, so you can find a link to pre-order your copy. It's coming out the second week of May. And I'm going to be reading it on my YouTube channel, and this will be the first time that anyone has gotten a sneak peek at the book. So I'm really, really excited about that. But I hope that you will continue joining me. It's so nice to see so many of you returning and tuning in. And for those of you who may not be able to join when we're live, you can always go back and listen, watch the videos. You can always get caught up on the different chapters too. So, but it's been a really fun experience for me, and I'm really enjoying it. So thank you so much. If you have a second, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.